A new Rings of Power trailer just dropped, and it's got everyone talking. Rings of Power is set thousands of years before the events that unfold in the original trilogy, and uses J.R.R. Tolkien's Silmarillion as its basis, though still maintaining originality with new characters and plots. The plot centers around Galadriel, trying to warn the elves about the evil still in Middle-earth, and her taking up arms against it, and the rise of Sauron as he creates the Rings of Power. Here's everything we know. Firstly, more details from the new trailer. Though the show is mostly an original concept, it does take a lot of inspiration from Tolkien's history of the universe, as written in the Silmarillion and other books. The writers have decided to use a lot of recognizable faces and artifacts from the original trilogy. In the new trailer, we see Galadriel placing the last empty elvish helmet into a massive pile of armor, narrating the return of evil to Middle-earth. Though, strangely, she then approaches a Palantir, one of the 7 seeing stones that are called Palantiri, created by the ancient elves of Noldor. During the time period of the setting of the show, these were given to the faithful men of Numenor. Sauron, the villain throughout all of the main Lord of the Rings film series, only just starts gathering up his power in the new show, bringing about the roots of his plan to bind all the Rings of Power to the one true ring. He takes up disguise as the elf Anatar, that is, the Lord of Gifts, played by Anson Boone. This casting and character is not only canonically accurate to Tolkien's writing, but gives the show its own big bad villain, and this time he has both eyes. Interestingly enough, we also got to see the Balrog in the trailer. For those who don't know, no Balrogs are mentioned as being active in the Second Age of Middle-earth, so this really was a surprise for everyone. Though, given that it has become one of the most iconic monsters in the universe, it was only understandable that they'd try to bring it into the fray somehow. Moving on, how important is Sauron to the plot? A lot of familiar characters pop up in the show, including Galadriel and even Gandalf, though there's another character introduced by Galadriel when she narrates, "Evil does not sleep, it waits." This is a line very familiar to the fans of the original trilogy from the Fellowship of the Ring, when Boromir, Sean Bean, says, "There is evil there that does not sleep," as Boromir is talking about the evil in Mount Doom in Mordor. It's more than just a hunch, because of this, that Sauron is once again going to be our main villain. The Dark Lord makes a return to the screen, as shown in the trailer, marking the first time that viewers have ever gotten to see him in a humanoid form, and not just a cloaked figure with black armor or a giant eye on top of Mount Doom. This time, however, the Dark Lord is blonde. Like a lot of creatures from the Lord of the Rings universe, Sauron's appearance is quite fungible, very similar to characters like the wizards Gandalf and Saruman. Sauron is actually a celestial spirit by the name of Maya that actually helped the Valar in the creation of the world, in particular, a student of the Vala Aule, and being true to his Luciferian nature, he quickly sided with the Dark Lord Morgoth, only to continue to grow in power and eventually become the Dark Lord himself. Not only that, we probably get to see him interact with and manipulate the maker of all the rings, Celebrimbor, a character previously seen in the Shadow of Mordor games as well. Lastly, reviews are out. Reviews for the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power are finally out, and it's being called a breathtaking spectacle, bringing only good news to fans of the films and books. Unlike the Lord of the Rings content we've seen before, the show does not center around hobbits and elves. The series is said to be a landmark in terms of its production quality, according to critics and the small number of fans that have been able to see it pre-launch. Reportedly, it cost around $500 million to produce just the first season, with incredible CGI, outstanding costume and production design, stunning locations, and with just glimpses of it through trailers, it truly does live up to the hype of it. Although a lot of its potential viewers have not yet been able to watch the first 2 episodes, just judging by the trailers, they're absolutely falling in love with the series before it's even out. Not all fans seem to be as ecstatic about the trailer, despite how the plot is incredibly set up. Some fans still feel as though it could be better, and especially how the music could be a million times better. Fans of the show are saying that the music is not feeling like Lord of the Rings anymore, and tends to shift shift towards very generic fantasy music instead, absolutely ruining the atmosphere for some. Thankfully, not all fans are against the choice of music played for the trailer. Many ended up asking where they could find it to listen to whenever. Other news. Coming up, Gandalf makes a return. The latest trailer for the show gives us a solid look into the mysterious and raggedy guy we've seen in previous teasers. Yet he hasn't been officially announced as Gandalf, but lore from the books, and even though the timeline does not exactly line up, while the rest of the cast is busy fighting off the forces of Sauron, Gandalf is coming to Middle-earth an age early to just hang out with the hobbits. Another reason why the show might be incredible. With how the story seems to be shaping up, we can expect Gandalf to crash like a meteor, pulled out from the burning crater with something like a Harfoot, finds family in between the hobbits, and leads them to what is now known as the Shire, absorbing their way of life, and at the time, trying to remember his purpose in Middle-earth, and finally working towards gathering the realm against Sauron. Though, in the original timeline, the wizards don't pop up in the realm until at least 1,000 years after the forging of the rings and destruction of Numenor, well into the Third Age. This change in the timeline might end up making a very interesting addition to the plot of the show. Moreover, producers claim that competition between the two shows is fabricated, with The Lord of the Rings of Power, and HBO's House of the Dragon coming out around the same 6 weeks. Many people and headlines have deemed it the biggest battle in TV history. When the producer of the Lord of the Rings show was asked about this, Lindsay Weber completely dismissed the idea, saying both shows had different goals and stories, and were in no way conflicting with each other. Lindsay further talked about how she's certain that not even the cast and crew feel any competition towards House of the Dragon, as all of them acknowledge the love and effort it takes into making something like it, stating that this narrative has only been created for headlines and to get fans riled up by the media, and in fact is not true at all. Later on in the Q&A that the interview took place, the showrunners and executive producers, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, joined in to confirm and support the show on its stance regarding it, saying that both series are worlds apart. The producers further talk about it as imagining a gardener and archaeologist. Both look similar, and some might even say that they're the same, but despite that, they're completely different pieces of art that stand by themselves. Finally, the first 2 episodes might stream together, with tickets available on Monday at 9 a.m. PST. Cinemark created a one-night-only event that would broadcast the first 2 episodes for certain fans as a marketing tactic. Not only that, the reservation comes with a $10 snack voucher as well, though the chance to see the first 2 episodes before the premiere is only available for Cinemark Movie Rewards members. Viewers outside of the US and Canada would still get a chance to see the much-awaited show in theaters, as Amazon plans to screen it in multiple locations in the UK, Ireland, Argentina, Colombia, Australia, and New Zealand. Reports mention that the company has decided to cover over 200 locations for the screening. This brings about a new air of seriousness shown for the show by Amazon. If even for one night, this move was highly unprecedented and caught fans off guard and jumping with excitement. Owning the Lord of the Rings property no doubt comes with a very engaged fan base, both of the original books and the trilogy by Peter Jackson, that the streaming service is trying to get hyped for the upcoming series. That's a wrap for this video. What are you excited about in the new series? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.